between breath, take the shot.
You've done really good out there, kid.
This is high school. Nothing that happens here matters in the real world.
Okay, we are in charge now, so please pull out whichever app you use to do live streaming video. Get them up and running and point it at me. Now!
I'm calling 911.
Get back to your homeroom and stay put until
You should be ashamed.
Very disturbing news out of Vernon Central High School.
Zoe. Go! Is it safe to say that this might be our guardian angel? Do you want more people to die?
That's the last thing I want.
I'm gonna kill one person in this room every 5 minutes. You don't show your face.
Isn't it ironic that after all your hard work, people aren't gonna remember you?
No?
They're gonna remember me.
Are you guys nervous to be here with us?
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
Yes.
I get nervous around the young savages, the young savages, the young
You
gunners
think of us
on the
as young
street.
savages?
Damn.
Good. You fucking should. Watch your
I don't
tone.
have the hairline of a young savage.
I do.
It's true. One of the savagest hairlines you can possibly have.
I got a hairline in the back of my head with like my eyes.
Well, here we go. Hey, boys. It's Chapo. We're back again. It's me, Matt, and Felix. But joining us this week are three young savages that I think you guys are really going to get a kick out of. It's the podcast about List Gang in the house. What's up?
That's right.
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
What's up?
We're bringing that back.
Yeah. We got a lot of complaints that we were, essentially we were reviewing a lot of Christian movies that are all are actually about high school. Like all these Christian movies are about people who are 15 and like have to save the world or have to save Jesus Christ. And the average age of our guests is about 73 years old. And I don't think this is an error in our part. Like we vet industry professionals, but we are, every February we're open to audience suggestions. So we've brought down the average guest age. We have people who are their memories of high school are closer. We all on the show, we're all 63 years young. Mm-hmm. When we were in high school, we played football with leather helmets, and turtlenecks.
Yeah, I'm still in high school. I don't know.
Yeah,
I know about the other two.
15-year-olds on. We're ringers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is, we've done we're reviewing. I wouldn't really call this a Christian movie.
No, it's not. No, it's really not.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There are Christian elements in it, but it's not made as a Christian
like a mom
movie.
with cancer. I would say that's an extremely Christian motif.
That's whenever Christians they can't think of something more tragic, they already spent their tragedy point. They're like, yeah, fuck it, cancer mom.
Yeah, insanely hot mom who has to be bald.
Mm-hmm. The biggest tragedy of all.
Yeah, that's why the girl in the movie was so mad. She's like, my hot mom, Rhoda Mitchell, looks disgusting after chemo. She's not even dead.
There's the fucking scene where she comes back. She doesn't have hair at first, and then she does, and the girl goes like, "Oh, nice hair."
Yeah.
I thought that going into this, you guys maybe asked us to be on this because I looked like the school shooter or something, and it was such a disappointment to find out I looked like the mom. That really fucked with my head.
So, in case you haven't figured it out already, we've got the Pot About Lisp gang in the house, both because we want the young, hungry wolves inside the tent, just snuggling with us rather than trying to get in the tent and rip our throats out. But we also wanted to show them the new Ben Shapino produced Daily Wire exclusive film product, Run, Hide, Fight. It's a survival thriller about what you would do in a school shooting style kinetic scenario. And I just want to
do all this.
Yeah.
just want to get that out there.
Yeah. if you follow the steps laid out in this movie, you stand a pretty good chance of surviving a mass shooting situation.
Or if you die, they will name one of the bathroom stalls at the high school after you for your heroism.
Just a plaque on the door.
One kid gets the stall and the other kid gets the toilet inside. Not enough stalls to name after people.
They could put an eternal flame in a urinal.
True.
Urinal cakes with the kids' faces on them.
I want to make clear though that this is distributed by Ben Shapino's Daily Wire. It's like exclusive to their streaming platform, I guess. But I should be clear that this movie, they did not like they got the distribution rights to it. Like at no point were they involved in like the writing or like actual production of this film, which screened at the Venice Film Festival, but like not in competition. It was just sort of screened there. And, you know, it's a movie that does reflect their rather stupid right-wing politics, but they were smart enough to pick up a movie that like this is not True Allegiance, the movie. You know, and like, it just shows that they were smart enough to think that like, okay, this is our entryway into like the broader culture. So let's pick a movie that like we had nothing to do with because we are just loathsome dorks. And if we're trying to like broaden our appeal, we need a little buy-in from a movie audience. And, you know, I think that, you know, it is my grim duty to report these grim and brutal truths. Run, Hide, Fight is a movie I would describe as not wholly terrible. And in fact, even had some pretty good kills in it.
I actually would go a little farther. I really actually liked it. I enjoyed the entire. I enjoyed the whole thing, and I will admit that a lot of that was. I mean, I was sort of like, okay, what is this? But then it had never really lost me, and then school shooting happened, and they started shooting people, and they were using real guns with blanks and squibs. And at that point, it was basically inevitable that I was going to love it. And by the end of it, I was like, I can't get annoyed by any of this because when they shoot people, the fucking blood comes out of them.
Okay.
And no movies do that anymore. And I just cannot, I don't have the luxury of turning my nose up at a movie that does that at this point.
So I raised my first objection of the episode. I think that Matt has an obsession with squibs and fake guns, rather similar to, you know, sometimes when a child develops an obsession with like conveyor belts or price guns or things like that and learns everything about them. And they stop screaming and shaking when they see one. You have to take them to Costco to calm them down.
Spoken like a man who did not see Da 5 Bloods. Has anyone seen that movie? The Spike Lee movie that was on Netflix?
I haven't seen it yet.
No. It's all in Vietnam, and there's a bunch of shooting. They use rubber guns. They have to mime the recoil, and it's not even just squibs, not even just CGI blood. They use CGI muzzle flashes. And the whole thing is like a cartoon. Any kind of real drama is just bleached out of it as you're watching that. And that's a fucking Oscar-winning screen filmmaker. And the demons at Netflix were like, no, cheaper, lower price point. And to me, that's so repulsive that I don't care if Ben Shapiro was involved. That I will defend this movie to my squib.
Here's my
squib aided death.
I agree with you. Like, I strongly prefer that, but it didn't blind me to the reality that this movie sucked.
Okay, we'll go through it.
We'll get into it. It's pretty goofy, but if I would have like one like overarching criticism of this movie is that it could have been, it's not a good movie, but it could have been good in my opinion if it had leaned wholly into being what it actually is, which is a deeply sleazy exploitation film that just like rings feeling out of like exploiting school shootings and mass shootings in our sort of public consciousness. But instead, both in the way that the Daily Wire has promoted it and the film itself, the movie really does, and the filmmaker, I think, really think that this is like a serious movie that asks a question like, what would you do? Like it's like that's a worthy question to be posed in a movie about mass murder, rather than just exciting us with a vicarious thrill of shooting up your high school.
I agree with that. It's like we talked about how S. Craig Zoller is the best reactionary filmmaker, and this really felt like a Zoller-esque movie where it just didn't have the courage to fully hit exploitation pedal to the metal the way he does.
Yeah, it's super like nasty and like exploitative, especially the first scene when they just pull in and start shooting people. But then it's like they don't commit to it. They have the ghost, the imaginary friend mom, and who's giving helpful advice through the movie. And there's the scene where the guy's like, "Well, we're not Nazis," and it's just like, come on, go for it. I want to see something really evil.
I want to see some Uwe Boll shit.
Yeah, if I'm watching a movie about a school shooting, I want it to be pure evil. You know what I mean?
I want him to say that he made the school in Doom. I want, it's got to be something like that.
See, I actually have a theory where the main school shooter actually is fully evil, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, he wears a velour jacket. That's evil.
That is pretty evil.
I mean, you know what I was thinking about a lot was that movie where Muslims try to time travel to kill Jesus Christ.
Assassin 33.
Yeah. And The Reliant. And I liked how idiosyncratic they were, because we've talked about this a lot with ostensibly or explicitly Christian or more explicitly conservative movies, that there's a real fucked upness about them. There's a real there's so many jagged edges that are the gulf between the filmmaker's intentions and what they are able to actually do, that it creates this very interesting thing that isn't the smoothed over crap you usually see. And this is this was mostly the smoothed over crap. There were parts of this where I was oh, okay, this is The Reliant. And for instance, where it's oh yeah, she sees ghost appearances of her cancer mom. That's a very shitty Christian movie, and I enjoyed that. But for the most part, it was just you know what this movie is? Everyone has that friend who's constantly fucking up. They're the person in your life who it's always something, right? They lost their fucking wallet, or they it wasn't their fault, but they crashed their car into a curb so hard the tire fucking exploded or something. It's just always something. And when they're not texting you about some problem they created, they're have you ever seen Galacticus? It's something that only comes out in red boxes in St. Louis. Just people who haven't been in a movie in theaters in 10 years in it. And that's what the rest of this movie felt like to me.
Okay, you know what I couldn't stop thinking about throughout this entire movie, particularly as it relates to the bad kids, the villains, and their school shooting plot? I could not get out of my head watching this entire movie that prospector tweet about doing a mass shooting at Pfizer and then having the SWAT team lead him away in the van and compliment him on his loadout.
Yeah, all right. I guess that's undeniable about this movie is that the bad guys do have swag.
Yeah, no, their plan is pretty goated, honestly.
And they keep complimenting them on the plan throughout the movie too.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, if this were a better movie, it would be loathed and reviled, not because Ben Shapiro is involved in it, but it would be loathed and reviled because it basically is a blueprint for how to get a massive KD ratio at a school shooting.
Yeah.
Well, that's so I figured out that is one of the only things about it that's identifiably very political. Everything that conservatives latched onto after Sandy Hook or whatever, where it's oh well, it's the problem isn't that just any schizophrenic person can just buy a fucking gun. It's that they do the school safety meetings in public where you sure can do it, and it's yeah, I mean, I guess they shouldn't do that, but is that really the problem here? I don't know. I'm not even a super. I'm not really into gun control all that much, but it just seemed like all the things that they latch onto to explain why school shootings happen in this country and don't happen in others. And I mean, I have my own theories about why this is such a mass shootery country. And I think it stems back to just the basic idea of culture being downstream from politics. That the political ethos you get from having the dominant empire in the world is that human life is meaningless. That you can kill 1 million people in another fucking country on a lie, and it's just okay, and you can even be a hero for participating in it, and it cheapens and just deadens people's values of human life, and that it's also like this in every empire. Like young men used to, if you were a middle class young man, like a lot of these shooters are, you would just like fucking go overseas and kill somebody and come back, and that was part of growing up.
Yeah.
And like now, because we've like outsourced war to be invisible to us, and for the fighters of our wars to be invisible mostly, like that doesn't go away, and it just gets turned on, our own people. But like the Daily Wire isn't going to do that. Like the Daily Wire, like their idea of how you should stop mass shootings is like, oh, we should send every mentally ill person to serve in the IDF so they can do this constructively.
Well, before we get into actually talking about the film itself, I do want to share with you guys briefly just a clip from the Daily Wire's backstage premiere event before they screen this movie. And I just want to give you you and the listeners here, just a little flavor of the geniuses behind the film distribution of this and sort of how they see the film, at least. So, Chris, could you bring that up?
Now, about a decade ago, maybe more than a decade ago.
Oh my!
I know.
Yeah, look at this.
Good.
And we met in my two-bedroom condo, and we were talking about making movies and how difficult it was for conservatives to understand that we actually need to challenge in the culture. And over the preceding 10 years, we've seen as the culture has moved further and further left, as more and more people are shut out of the not only the entertainment industry, but out of sports, out of journalism, as we saw today, and out of virtually every area of American life. How there's a blue tsunami that has come and washed through all of our institutions. And we've been talking for a long time about how we need to fight back on this level. One of the things that I have to say here is nothing but love for our audience. I mean, seriously, nothing but love for our audience, because what we're doing here is truly something audacious. I mean, because there's a gap that has always existed in the conservative mind between the stuff that we say that we want to watch and then the stuff that people actually want to watch. A lot of conservatives, if you ask them what kind of TV do you want to watch, and they'll say, well, like a Hallmark film, right? Something that I can go to church and feel good that I've watched.
Remember
and then,
Little House on the Prairie?
Exactly. And then when it comes time to sit down with the wife or sit down with the husband and sit down with the boyfriend or girlfriend, or then you just flip on Netflix and whatever everybody else is watching, that's what you're watching, and you're giving your money to people who really despise your values. Well, we've decided to do here.
All right, now enough of this.
With a film.
You get the thing. I just
it looks like on cinema.
Yeah, it looks like for the listeners here, like
they got the popcorn machine.
A jar of Twizzlers and then a jar of Skittles. They're all wearing fucking tuxedos and patent leather shoes, but then there's just like a buffet.
There's also a cigar store Indian in the background.
Yeah, what the fuck?
This feels
basement. Whose dad's basement is this?
This feels exactly like Christopher Moltisanti pitching his movie about like a serial killing mob man.
And just one other thing, it's like the Chiron, it like the set, and not just the set, but the brains behind the words are exactly identical to the On Cinema Oscar specials. Like, everything about it is perfect. But there's a chyron on the bottom that just says "Take back our culture." And they view this movie as their attempt to take back the culture by producing something that has a skein, a sort of a sheen of conservative politics to it. But like, as Ben Shapiro says, it's like, nonetheless, you can watch it on Netflix with your boyfriend or girlfriend.
Wait, can I just point out one thing on the set that I just noticed?
Yeah.
They have a bell jar full of pipes on the table, like smoking pipes.
What the fuck is that?
That's distinguished. That's elegant.
Yeah, this is like what I think my clubhouse would be when I was like 5.
Yeah. This is the intersection of class and swag right here. This is
Yeah, that's basically like that place looks like Neverland Ranch if Michael Jackson molested middle-aged white men.
Oh my God! Instead of offering them wine, he just gets your uncle in there and he's like, "Hey, want a Cuban?
Yeah.
Want a cigar?
You want a huge bucket of popcorn?
You want to say, hey, this is Jesus dick. Suck on that."
My uncle didn't get molested by Michael Jackson, but he had really intimate, like, emotional connections with them, and then just moved on to older uncles.
I do want to say though
Bob
that
Seger's in that room if you want to go meet him.
So yeah, the set is identical to On Cinema, and I do love that they're all smoking cigars because like that is like the
Epic
sort of
Sirs.
middle-aged conservative guy affectation of being cool. It's like, yeah, I'm not just a conservative. I'm not just like some in front of the class kid who's been bringing a Snap briefcase to fucking grade school. I got a little bit loose here. I like to put a big turd in my mouth and suck on it. But I do want to note though that this movie is currently at 25% on Rotten Tomatoes, and if I swear to God, if the Daily Wire were not involved in distributing this movie, there is no way it would be rated that low.
No, it'd be
Considering
like a
the shit
50.
that gets fucking like Hosannas, the absolute garbage that the fucking streaming services put out that gets like critical acclaim, absolutely ridiculous.
No, I mean, I actually think like if they didn't do their cool production where they're all wearing fucking tuxedos and like if they created a shell company basically and were like, this isn't a Daily Wire movie, like I think they would eventually succeed in sort of shifting the culture right if you just made more. Because the move isn't to make Mel Gibson makes movies that are sometimes have like conservative undertones, and it's the same with Clint Eastwood. But it's like you don't change the culture necessarily with Oscar bait or near Oscar bait. You change it with the movies that imbeciles like rent from Redbox or watch on Netflix, and this is one of those movies. Like that 25%, yeah, like I completely agree. I have seen this movie sucks. But I have seen people rave over much shittier movies. And there's no reason why, they did crack the code. They cracked the code of what the average Indiana Opana residue liquor likes in a movie. And they could make more of these.
That's why we're here. We're here to raise that Rotten Tomatoes number up. Let's
get it up, folks.
That's what I'm
get
here
it up
for.
to 50%. By the end of this episode.
I just
if
think
Ben Shapiro promises to put squibs back in movies, he could literally be in charge of Hollywood. I don't give a fuck.
Well, I mean, I read one review where it was just like, it's impossible to separate this movie from like the truly terrible people who produce it. And I'm like, what?
Yes, you can. Are you a baby?
Unlike every other Hollywood movie that's produced.
Anyway, time to watch X-Men First Class.
Yeah.
Annie Hall sitting at 94% on Rotten Tomatoes.
All right, but I mean, let's start going through the movie bit by bit. And I think the important thing to remember here is that Ben Shapiro and friends all think that this movie should win Best Picture, and won't because of liberal bias.
Like when American Sniper was robbed.
Exactly.
So like I said, this movie has pretensions of realism, and it always seems to be asking the audience, what would you do? I mean, even the title of the movie, Run, Hide, or Fight, it should be called. But the movie's answer to that question is be John McClane. Like, if you're not being John McClane in a survival situation, you might as well kill yourself before it even starts.
Have a sniper dad.
That's how all conservatives answer that question, though. It's like, what would you do in this situation? And they're like, well, I just kill everybody. You just kill all the bad guys so easily.
Yeah, the big problem that the kids at Parkland had is that they didn't level up their dad's sniper stats. And you need that for the final school shooter boss fight.
You have to kill a living thing before school every day to get kind of primed
The problem
for what you might
is
run
that
into.
The problem at Parkland was that David Hogg's FBI dad was like a fucking white collar crime guy and not member of a hostage rescue team.
Yeah,
Exactly.
when they got the shooter on the horn at Parkland, his dad, David Hogg's dad, was like, can you convert him to Islam so I can entrap him in the stupidest plot of all time?
I have nothing else.
Yeah,
I have no other skills.
Look, is the shooter a 70 IQ Muslim 14-year-old? No. Well, good luck, guys.
So yeah, the movie opens up, and it's our main character as a hero who's she's a teenage girl, and she's with her dad, and they're hunting in the woods. And she draws a bead on a good looking buck, pulls the trigger, blow, takes it down. But the deer, it was not a instant kill shot. And then her dad, played by the great Thomas Jane, always a joy to see him in a movie. I'd like to see more Thomas Jane in movies, in my opinion.
Absolutely,
agreed.
So goddamn came here to motherfucking do.
And what they came to motherfucking do is kill this deer. But the deer is wheezing as its lungs fill with blood, and he's he begins to lecture his daughter, and he's like, you still have a responsibility here. There's still some work to be done. But before he even gets done finishing his little spiel about how you have to honor the kill, she just takes a giant rock and crushes this thing's skull. Just whack.
Love
like
that.
Doesn't even wait for the dad to finish his sort of inspirational dadly speech. So she's like, this is a girl who's, she's okay with killing. She's inured to death and violence. So like that's our hero of the movie. And that's honestly, you have to basically make yourself like that if you wanted to survive any kind of kinetic situation. So step one, kill an animal.
There's no way to make a character more relatable than just instantly have them cave in a defenseless animal's skull like in the first 2 minutes of the movie.
They had to show that she turned to a savage.
I thought that was a very funny moment because he's in the middle of literally a sentence and she just crushes the skull. I laughed. I thought that's clever. I thought it was funny, but it's also true that the warning signs of someone who's going to shoot a school are the same as the sign that somebody can survive a school shooting, which is killing animals.
Well, do you believe in vaccines or not?
So yeah, her dad is a troop dad, and her mom is a cancer mom and also a ghost.
Classic couple.
One of the best combos.
The mom is played by Radha Mitchell, who you remember from such films as Pitch Black and Man on Fire. And I got to say,
the Silent Hill series.
Always like to see Radha Mitchell in a movie too. So it's got some good casting in this movie, but it's mainly about the kids. Like the adults are filled in with character actors of yore, but this movie's mainly about the kids, and it's about this teenage girl. Who's sort of, she likes wearing her dad's army jacket to school every day because she's like, yeah, every day at high school is a fucking war, Dad. And he's like, take it off. And there's one point where Thomas Jane says to her, he's like, you've got a look that guys in my unit had. You need to come back. You need to refocus here. You need to be drawn back into humanity because she has Fallujah PTSD from having her mom die or something.
Yeah, no, I lost a parent to cancer and I am an operator. Yeah, no.
So she gets picked up at her house, and I would say another plus to this movie is that the action starts pretty quickly, and there's not a lot of boring lead up. It's basically her and her sort of friend zoned best guy friend drive
her
to
Urkel.
school. Yeah.
Okay. I had some problems with this. I did not realize until about a quarter into this movie. Well, first, let's just say this is a Rosario Dawson, Cory Booker type relationship. I thought he was the gay best friend. I'm not trying to be mean. I literally thought that. I was very confused.
He's super soy is the thing. He's got the soy banter down, and that's sort of, it codes over a while as being sort of effeminate.
Yeah,
But
he's doing Joss Whedon, They Fly Now stuff, while the shooting's happening.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing that. The shooter does that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's a great choice. I will defend it later.
Okay. Well, so I mean, I would say, they're on their way to school, and then they see one of the weird kids in a field doing something shady, and they're like, okay, I hope that doesn't come back later in the plot. But so they get to school, and I thought there was another sort of a clever plot device here, where that it's the school shooting happens on the day of senior prank day and senior promposal day. So it's
Worst prank of all time.
And a lot of the pranks are let's set off these firecrackers or balloons, or wouldn't it be crazy if we played gunshots over the PA? So when it does actually happen, they're not ready. People think it's a joke, but no, it's very real. It's very real.
I like that everyone had their own individual pranks.
Yeah.
Everyone had their own thing to do. I feel like that's not usually how it happens on prank
No,
day,
it's usually
but maybe that's
one
just me.
collective prank.
Yeah, I don't remember everyone doing their own thing.
And something they fill an office with balloons. There's sort of a sloping hallway that they put a slip and slide and Crisco on so people fall down. This all comes back later in the kinetic situation. But it's pretty much a standard day at school. The friend zone friend is really struggling to shoot his shot and invite her to prom, but she doesn't want to go with him because she's still traumatized by the death of her mom. Things are going along. The chemistry class teacher is played by the great Barbara Crampton. Horror movie legend and all-time
babe.
All-time dime.
Horror movie icon. Barbara Crampton is the good-natured chemistry teacher. So basically, they're sitting in the cafeteria. The friend zone guy, the Cory Booker character, asks her to prom, and she sort of blows him off and leaves the cafeteria. But then the action starts. The bad kids, they drive like a fucking a white van like through the fucking door of like the school, just crashes it into the cafeteria, gets out and just starts shooting people. And then like the evil plan begins to unravel. And like how would you guys describe? I thought like Matt will feel differently here, but I thought a big weakness of the movie was it's the antagonists, the villains. I thought were not really that scary or evil, and I just found them to be like annoying and pretty soy.
Yeah, they're like Suicide Squad characters.
Yeah. What I liked about them, they're like kind of like each an archetype of like a possible school shooter. Like there's the kid who like his pants got pulled down, everyone saw his wiener. Like that's one archetype. There's like the big like ogre guy who like hears voices in his head. That's another one. And then there's a girl who's too goth. And then there's like the main guy his thing is just like he's very clever and that's why he wants to kill everyone.
The main guy is 100%. The main villain is 100% Joker-fied. This is this is a kid who saw the Joker and that's where he got the idea to like he calls himself an agent of truth.
Yes, and see, all right, I'll say it now. I like that. I like that he was soy because that is evil now. That is what evil is. Like, how is evil manifested? It's like it's glib irony. It's like you go to see movies, you go to see Marvel movies, and it's like, oh, nothing means anything. No emotion can be real. Everything has to be ironically distanced, and that turns you into a fucking psychopath. So we've gone from like Klebold and Harris, like heavy metal, like hard, nihilist evil, to like literally a fucking Marvel villain, bad guy, like a guy who's trying to be Thanos. And to me, that is like as good art should be if resident of the moment. Like I'm not scared of some like grimdark guy who's trying to, like make a fucking Burzum album come to life because that's too earnest for kids these days. That's too earnest for the moment. What's real for the moment is people who are pathologically incapable of being sincere. And that's the bad guy. And when you're pathologically incapable of being sincere and having real emotions, blowing up your school as a bit becomes something that's a real possibility. And what's the real motivation? Getting famous. The only thing that matters is if you're the only real person in the world, the only thing that could ever be a reason, a motive force for doing anything is to become the only person in the world by making everybody else acknowledge you.
And to that end, the main villain kid, as soon as he sort of like attains control of the cafeteria after shooting a couple people, and I believe he says trigger warning before killing.
He does.
Yeah,
which is I like.
Fucking
that's
good
stuff, dude.
But then he tells everyone to take out their phones and start live streaming him. And he's like, you want to know how I got these faves and retweets? You want to know how I got on Hassan Piker's show? I don't have a plan. But yeah, like they start live streaming the mass shooting, and then of course, like our hero is, she was able to sort of like cowering in a bathroom as like some girl comes in bleeding from her stomach or something, and then she realizes what's going on, and like the rest of the school has no clue what's going on yet. But like the hero is going to attempt to run, hide, fight. I mean, it's all there, and it's actually her ghost mom who tells her to run, hide, and fight at various points in this movie.
Do you think that the ghost mom is also talking to the tall ogre guy?
Yeah.
He's hearing the same voice. She's just saying fight to him.
It was gonna be the ghost dad, but he's not allowed within 100 yards of a school.
So like in terms of the sort of more overt conservative politics, there's a funny moment where like early on in the mass shooting, like the campus safety officer, like the campus security guard comes in and he's like please stop the shooting, and then the Joker kid is just like, how are you gonna do? You don't even have a gun, asshole. What the fuck are you gonna do? And then the principal comes in and is like, I'm sorry you had to go to my office twice a week. We can work this out. And then like he just kills him. But before you think he's doing the mass shooting because the principals have been mean to him. But no, this kid is so Joker-fied and is such a twisted genius that he got himself sent to the principal's office twice in 1 week to steal copies of his ID and keys to better do his evil plan. That's mindset. Like I said, the plan is pretty goated, and they let the school safety officer live, but like he pisses his pants, And then it's shown that he spends about 20 minutes when he could be warning other students and teachers that there's a shooting going on, changing his giant khakis to like
the biggest cargos he had. He needed to hop
And I love that he has an extra pair in his office. He's like,
it's not
there's
the
no
first
way.
time it's happened.
No,
I-
it's happened. Some
I'm
kid
here
accidentally bumped into him, and he's pissed himself before.
Yeah, it's like, look, I am in that school 40 hours a week. There's no way I'm not pissing my pants at some point.
So, so the Joker kid, and like here's the thing about their plan. Like the Joker kid has come up with this plan and enlisted the help of the kid with a small wiener, his goth girlfriend, and her sort of like a Lenny like simpleton who hears voices, but is pretty handy with a gun. And then, but his plan is all based on the fact that he has researched like schools' contingencies for mass shooting events and has exploited the weaknesses in their own response. They're sort of their programmed response. So like they set off a bomb elsewhere in town to like get the fire department and police looking elsewhere. They cut the phone lines, or like there's a whole thing about how according to school regulation, you have to check to see if a mass shooting is actually happening before you go into lockdown. So he's like the movie's trying to teach you about how we should change laws and legislation. And there is actually, I would say, a kind of anti-lockdown, anti-shelter-in-place message in this movie, because it's all about how like you can't just shelter in place. You have to run, hide, fight. You can't just do what the authorities tell you. That makes it easier for you to be rounded up and slaughtered by the Joker and bad kids.
Imagine how much easier it would be if each one of those kids had killed 4 people instead of just that girl. Would have been over instantly.
Well, it's like, sometimes every team has a DAR leader, and every team has a guy who's just laying an egg, can't hit a shot.
Exactly, and they had a whole school of them.
They panicked. They couldn't counter-strafe.
Imagine if every student had a ghost mom to give them advice. That was the problem.
Exactly,
Yeah, no, there wasn't enough ghost parents.
The ghost mom had the assists all game long.
Oh, yeah.
There's another thing where like he lets all the kids call their parents before they live stream, and like the friend zone kid calls his mom, and there is a funny part in the screenplay where he tells his mom, "I love you to the moon and back," and I was like, okay, I know you didn't get invited to prom, but like don't ask your mom, dude, you're about to die.
Yeah, the further that the more we saw that character, the more clear it was that like on set that actor was like, I don't get it. Like, what's my motivation? And then they just pointed to Ben Shapiro on set, and they were like, "See that gay nerd over there? Just do like basically everything he would do and his voice for the entire movie."
I mean, I'm gonna defend him here. The good thing about inviting your mom to prom is that she can rent a car for you guys. You're too young.
True.
Yeah.
Unless you go to
legally
prom
drink
when
and
you're
drive.
25, which is also okay. And that was the message of this movie.
You can go to prom at 25.
It's normal to do.
Mm-hmm. Look, who else is going to buy the kids alcohol?
Exactly.
Let's just see here. The hero is like she's seeking to save her not boyfriend, which is like a little trying to save his life, but you won't go to prom with him. I mean, come on. The bad kids kill the lunch lady, but like the lunch lady's like, you should be ashamed of yourself, brat. Like she gets murked. And then like
she was the biggest bully in the school. Like I saw the Snyder cut of this movie, and there's a 2-hour prologue pre-credits where like she's serving all the kids lunch, and she's like, "More breads for you, gay wad." I bet you want more fucking square shitty pizza because your mom left your dad.
I mean, if you think about it, lunch ladies are nutrition police.
Yeah,
like they literally police what you eat. They're food cops.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's zero difference between a police officer and a lunch lady.
Facts.
Yeah.
Let's see. Then there's another like a small bit of like overt like kind of Christian politics and right wing sort of point of view in this movie, because at one point the Joker kid does see some hot girl clutching a crucifix, and he's like, "Oh, you how could you believe in God now? I'm going to kill you." And she's like, "God lets the evil have free will so that they can be judged." And then he's like, "Okay, that's a pretty good answer. I'm going to move on."
Yeah, he doesn't vote it at all.
Fair enough.
I also love the pattern of people like this is another clear conservative point of view in this movie, is people constantly trying to do like like conflict resolution or like psychoanalysis to these people and just instantly getting murked. Just every time somebody's like, "Why are you doing this?" They're like, "Bullet in your head."
Yeah, I mean, like they're sort of like theater kids. It's like if theater kids killed 15 people in your high school because they want to put on a show, and like of course they're all about getting media attention, and like eventually like the cops and administration gets hip to what's happening, and they show up, and the media shows up, and they just want to get more views. They want to get more views. They want to get on the news. They want to be famous. There's one scene though where like as part of their plan, they realize like that, you know, once the school goes into lockdown, like all the kids have to like stay in their class and like barricade the door or whatever, even though, and I think this is the point the movie's making about how stupid lockdowns are. And I gotta say, I kind of agree with them. If I was in like a first floor classroom of a fucking building that a shooting was going on in, I would go straight out the fucking window. None of this, like, I'm just gonna like sit in class under my desk and hope nothing bad happens. Shit, even if you're on a second floor window, just chance it. And there's
my fate is in the hands of like a fucking like my health teacher who is wearing sweatpants.
Yeah, the teachers are so useless. It really like I feel like the three main like messages this is trying to send is like goths are evil, teachers should get a pay cut, and blondes really do have more fun.
There is a crucial moment though. Our hero is a blonde, and there's a crucial moment where like after she is able to escape the cafeteria and gets out of the school building, but she doesn't just run away. She goes back into the building to help her fellow students, and like she like her friend comes with her, but she's like, no, there's still people inside. Like I have to warn them, and like she's banging on windows, and they're like, enough of that, Mrs. You know, so and so. Like, you know, school senior prank day is, you know, it only comes once a year, but we're not having any of this. So yeah, like the teachers are all universally useless, and they get plenty of their kids killed. There's one scene though where the Joker kid goes into a Spanish class, and there's like this like hot as fuck Spanish teacher, and he makes her take her shirt off and show him his tits. But like if this were like a true piece of like classic right-wing exploitation cinema, the audience would have got to see nudity instead of it just being implied. Like if this was a Michael Winner Golan Globus film, you would be seeing her tits no matter how horrible the circumstances are. So they sort of they pulled their shot on that one. They pulled their punch when it came to that scene.
Well, yeah, well, like it's implied that he's gonna like further assault her, but then the soy kid is like, "Oh, you're trending," and he's like, oh, "What are people saying?"
Yeah, I do love also that he at the beginning when they first bust into the cafeteria, he kind of like makes fun of them for caring about social media. He's like, "Oh, all you care about is like your likes and faves," and then the entire plot is just him trying to like while out on IG Live for 10K.
So as the hero is trying to warn more classes, she runs afoul of the goth girlfriend who like shoots her. And like they have a fight. They go into the room full of balloons, and I thought that was like a pretty well done scene of like, you know, using senior pranks to your advantage. And she struggles with the goth chick, and then just domes her. Like she kills the goth chick dead. And she's sort of like she's rifling through her pockets, and then there's an earlier scene where she's going through the pockets of like a dead security guard and getting like handcuffs, a baton. She's getting some items and upgrades, and her ghost mom appears to her, and she's like, "Well, you learned that from your dad. He's a gamer."
Yeah, your dad used to shoot 17-year-olds in the head all the time. It's patrilineal.
And then after she kills the goth girl, she's like going through her shit, and there's a scene where she has like she pulls hand sanitizer out of her pocket, and she goes, hand sanitizer. Guess you don't want to get your hands dirty." That was a good throwaway line there. That was a good one-liner.
You got to do something to calm yourself down in such a stressful situation. You got to make
drink
yourself
the
giggle.
hand sanitizer.
That's following the Keemstar advice. I mean, when he said if you suffer from anxiety, take 3 sips of warm beer.
Yeah,
make do.
So she kills the goth chick, and then she has a run-in with the small wiener kid. And you know, we bring this up because like it's explicated in this scene. Like she gets the drop on him. She, even though he's got a double-barreled shotgun, she like disarms him with an oiled up hallway and a fire extinguisher, and then she like knocks him out and handcuffs him to like the theater. And then, like, as soon as he's handcuffed, he just starts crying, and he's like, like in 6th grade, everyone pants me on stage, and everyone saw my wiener, and I've never gotten over it. And she's like, and then this is really good. She's telling the kid, he's like, no one remembers me. Like, they're only going to think of me as having the weird dick. And then, like, the hero says to him, I swear to God, the line is like, did it ever occur to you that the people laughing at you were having fun, you selfish prick?
I did like that because, I mean, finally a movie that explores both sides of bullying.
No, that's not what she
serious.
meant. That's not what she meant.
Oh,
she said maybe they're not. She wasn't laughing at you. Maybe they were just having. Maybe they were just laughing. Maybe everything isn't about you. Maybe the whole world doesn't revolve around you.
Okay,
you fucking asshole.
This is a Rorschach test. I thought it was.
Yeah,
Rorschach.
I thought she was like, "Babe, you're an entertainer."
Well, people are talking about you, right?
Yeah.
You're doing something right.
No, I'm sure.
I was the third result of the Rorschach test, which is I spaced out and was looking at my phone and don't remember that line at all.
I was like, that's how I scanned the line. It was like, do you realize that you made people happy with your fucked up little nub? And I was like, well, and I've never seen a movie explore the issue of bullying like that. But I guess that reveals me as a sociopath. But that's fine. Many people have compared me to the character Dexter from Dexter.
So like, then what happens? Okay, so like then eventually like the sheriff shows up. The sheriff played by Treat Williams. I like to call him always a Treat Williams to see him in such films as Deep Rising and The Substitute 2, Back in Class. So like and I thought he was going to be more of like a bumbling, incompetent sheriff, but he's actually like a good small town sheriff. And she's able to call him from inside the building, and this is when she becomes like she goes into John McClane mode, and she's like she's the anonymous hero inside the hostage situation. And she's like, and then she starts communicating with the Joker kid, and there's like a whole kind of Hans Gruber thing going on between the two of them. And I thought a little bit of sexual tension as well. I thought they could have done more with that, because maybe she could have taken him to the prom instead of her loyal one true friend.
Yeah. What if it was all a promposal? She didn't even consider that before she killed all his friends.
Everyone has that small town couple, the 63-year-old sheriff and the 17-year-old girl. We all know it. We've all seen it. We've all fantasized about being the girl and getting to date the sheriff.
So you're right. I mean, so basically, the Joker kid, like the ringleader, wants to go from class to class, collect all of the stupid kids who are sheltering in place instead of running, hiding, or fighting, bring them to the cafeteria, and then get like as many live views as possible, as much news coverage as possible, and then blow up the bomb that's in the back of their van. And just get like the highest kill count imaginable. And at one point he even says, he's like, a lot of people who do this don't even have a number in mind. He's like, how can you have a goal if you don't even know what you're aiming for? So like he's got a plan, but our hero is fucking it up because he's helping kids get out of the school. And there's a part where like the media is covering it outside, and like the sheriff is like, we want to get kids out of the school, but the school's in the shot. And they're like, no, we're just gonna keep filming. Like, who cares? We need to point our cameras at something.
What's in it for me?
And then at one point she decides to the Joker kid becomes aware of her, and then like he goes on IG Live and like addresses her, like who he knows is watching, and he's like, okay, you killed my girlfriend, and like the small wiener kid, don't really care about him. Fuck it. But so if you don't come to the cafeteria right now and like beg forgiveness, I'm gonna kill like one kid like every 5 minutes. So she takes it upon herself to be a hero yet again, and go to the cafeteria to sort of give her own life in exchange for someone else's. But before doing that, she in a weird moment she uncuffs the nerd kid, and who's like weeping and feels bad about killing someone, and gives him his shotgun back, and she's like. You have one shot at redemption. You have one shot at being remembered as something other than a guy who killed people for having a small dick. And then,
she reminds him that other people exist, and he's like, "Oh no, I shouldn't have done that."
Yeah.
So she goes back.
Known as the coward who had a small dick and then defected. You could be even lamer.
The coward with a small dick and no conviction either.
Yeah, I'm the Italy of having a small dick.
Yeah.
Just switch
Whoever's
sides
winning.
like that.
Whoever. Oh, this chick looks like she's got it on the ball. I'm going to be on her side now.
It also rules that he just does nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
just
it doesn't
immediately
work.
gets owned.
He gets owned.
Yeah.
But he allows her to escape with the nerd is the thing. Because
Yeah.
she gives herself up. She gives herself up, and he's like doing cat and mouse with her. And the big crazy guy whose sister is the one she killed really wants to kill her. And then the fat dork comes in with the gun, and then he immediately gets murked. But that allows them to run away.
Okay,
That's what he does.
They should have, when he was going on live, they should have done something where like Lil Boozy doesn't know what's happening and just also goes on live at the same time and does that thing he
Joins
does where
the live,
where he does that thing he does where he's like, I'll give $10,000 to any woman who shows her pussy right now. I'm live. And this shooter guy has to compete with him. They're like, Boozy's the number one.
Little Boozy has requested to join your live.
he tells the shooter, show his cock for $10K.
He's the one who told the Spanish teacher to take her top off.
Well, I mean, there's one good point where like it's sort of toward the end, and they're doing their John McClane, Hans Gruber back and forth over IG Live, and I like there's one point where the hero tells the Joker kid, she's like, "How does it feel to know that even after like all of this, after everything you've done, I'm gonna get the clout because now I'm on IG Live as a hero." And everyone is obsessed with me stopping your plan. So like I'm going to be more famous than you. I thought that was a good bit. But while this is going on, of course, there's sort of like media and parents assembling outside the perimeter of where the school is. And of course, the shooter dad, the hero, Thomas Jane, shows up with his fucking like Marine sniper rifle in the back of his pickup truck, and he uses operator skills to like get underneath like the chassis of a car, like roll out, enter the perimeter, set up a kinetic, a sniper scope situation. And, long story short, he fucking domes the big dumb kid who is about to kill his daughter. He just fucking domes him. And then, of course, what the amazing part about that is that he has this enormous sniper rifle. He just shot a kid from like 500 yards away through the fucking head. And then, like, he's surrounded by a SWAT team who like, hey, are you on our side or what? Can you do that? Wouldn't they have just killed him probably, like in a situation like that?
Yeah. No way he would have fucking got out of that scot-free.
When the dad showed up, he had only been in like the first 5 minutes of the movie, and it was like so long since he was in the movie that I forgot who he was, and I was like, did the shooters have like an adult on their team? What's going on?
Come on, that's cheating.
Yeah,
because he was just like looking shifty and like putting his hat really low over his eyes and carrying a gun around. I was like, what the fuck is this?
The shooter. That's the school shooter version of the 25-year-old who shows up to prom.
Yeah, that is
also
what's going on and just shows up.
That is like when like someone brings their like 17-year-old to like little league games and is like, yeah, he's 9.
So yeah, I mean, eventually though, our hero does triumph. The big dumb kid taken out, goth chick taken out, small wiener kid taken out. It's only her and the Joker now. And I forget kind of what happens, but she's able to go back to the cafeteria. He's out looking for her. She gets all the kids out of the cafeteria and does the van in reverse so it blows up in the parking lot. And she saves everyone.
But that's honestly the biggest problem with the movie is that when the van blows up, it's not nearly a big enough explosion.
It's just it's like a Molotov cocktail going off.
It would not have killed almost like if they had just stood at the other wall of the cafeteria, they would have been fine.
We never get to see the part of the Joker kid's plot, which is right before the van explodes. He was going to say, "Hey guys, come gather on the van. I want to show you something really awesome."
This van was on Pimp My Ride, and there's a PS2 in it. Everybody come over and play.
So, but previously, the Joker kid had taken another kid with him to go do something evil, and then it seems like the Joker kid had gotten blown up. But I knew immediately. You've seen Die Hard. This is the oldest trick in the book. You switch clothes with someone that then you kill in like an explosion, so their body is charred and mangled, and they find the green Joker blazer on the kid. And they're like, "Yeah, he's definitely dead." The old body switcheroo. So. Our hero is out. She's embraced by the sheriff. She's embraced by her father, who's in the back of a police car. But he's not going to do any time or face any consequences.
Yeah, it's so easy to explain that situation.
No, I shot a kid.
No. The kid was evil. No, you don't understand.
Yeah,
he was tall and he looked like a troll. Okay,
it's my dead wife.
Yeah. Look, I'll admit I came here today to help the shooters, but once I saw my daughter, I was like, all right. Fine.
No, you're right. You bring up the fact that the big dumb kid like hears voices and like talks to them, and you're right. Like it may have been the mom was talking to both of these kids, and like the dad shot this kid for like hitting on his dead wife or something, or just trying
playing both sides, dude.
Yeah.
Everyone's had that moment where the low IQ kid who somehow can commune with the dead fucks their wife.
Yeah.
One of my favorite aspects of that big dumb kid that was like near the beginning when they first were introducing him, and he was like, I think it was when he was trying to find the lunch lady. He was walking around in the cafeteria, and he was just going like need to find her. Like he was just talking like an ogre too, like with no nouns.
Oh, he refers to people as things.
Yeah.
He was an interesting character in the movie because everyone is either like like a cool like real America self-reliant guy, or like sort of like a soy evil or good or neutral creature. And then there's just like he's like a Witcher villager.
Yeah. He's like if Private Pile was in The Witcher.
So you think everything's okay. She saved the day, but then she spies. She spies the lead villain. She spies the Joker kid making a crafty getaway in the clothing of another guy. And then it's revealed that this kid had a plan all along to get to survive this mass shooting event and get away. And he goes there's a little bridge and a little stream, and he has a little like a safety deposit box or something, and he opens it up, and like in a sealed plastic bag it has like cash and like a fake passport. And I'm like, dude, you just are like the most recognizable person in America right now. How did he think he was going to get away with this?
It also had Groucho glasses in the box.
So he's by the brook, and he's just like, I wish I had killed more people, but for the most part, I got away with it. Still alive, no problem. I'm going to Venezuela right now.
He was gonna go to a country that's pro mass shooter.
Yeah,
mass shooter haven.
Yeah.
So then, the girl sees this, and then she asks her dad, who's in the back of a cop car, "Hey, Dad, do you still have your giant sniper rifle on you?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's just over where I dropped it. No one's touched it or done anything with it. It's still loaded." So she goes into the police perimeter, finds his sniper rifle, tracks the kid down, draws a bead on him, and fucking blows him away like he's a 12-point buck. And then she approaches him, and like the deer in the very beginning, he's wheezing as his lungs fill with blood. And she gives him the same spiel about, how you shouldn't let nature take its course because it'll lead to unnecessary suffering. She picks up a big-ass rock, and you think she's going to crush his skull. But no, she just brings it down right next to him to fuck with him. And she's like, haha, asshole, I'm not even going to give you the honor of stoving in your skull. Enjoy fucking bleeding to death, asshole. And just walks away. Movie over.
My favorite part of that is that, like, that guy wasn't there for that. He doesn't know what you're talking about. He's just like, why are you, like, giving me this speech? And also, how did she memorize it word for word? It didn't seem like she was paying attention at all.
No, she's off getting a rock. Also, how the fuck is she, like, just walking around with her dad's gun? You don't think anybody would have seen that?
Like,
there were 7 million police officers.
Yeah.
And she got shot in the leg, so she was like limping and bleeding. Right. And she's like going across 100-yard field to the fucking tree line, just like, never mind, guys, I gotta go. I'll be right back.
I really can't stress enough how large this rifle was.
That was the size of her.
Yeah. Have you guys seen the child with multiple gunshot wounds? I thought I saw her carrying a rifle the size of her from a crime scene, but I'm not sure. I didn't want to like cause the whole thing.
There's already too much going on here. I don't want to.
It's such a sick spot to end the movie too. Like, cause like then like the only resolution to the whole arc with like her like friend zoned friend guy is like she just sees him on a stretcher, like completely fucked up, and is just like, "Oh, is he okay?" And they're like, "Yeah, probably." And then that's it.
But she does agree to go to the prom with him.
She did agree to go to the prom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is true. Yeah, and there's also the part when he says like, "Go on without me," and she's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" No,
I do wish that there was maybe a post-credit sequence where they do go to prom, and he's like got a cane or something, and then it's the end of the night, and he goes in for another kiss because she gives him a kiss when she lies him down on the bed or the couch in the break room, and she just goes, "Look, I didn't really think you were gonna make it."
Which sets up Run, Hide, Fight 2, Friend Zone Revenge. No, yeah, she does agree to go to the prom with him, but like, there's actually a pretty funny moment where she's like, the friend zone character is just like, wait, because he got shot too, and he's like, wait, I need to tell you something, and she's like, I know, I promise if you get through this, you can do under the shirt stuff with me, okay? Like, I've gotten over my mom's death, and like, I'm ready to maybe go to third base. And then he's like, that's great. I'm really happy about it. But actually, what I need to tell you is that there's a giant fucking bomb in the van that's parked in the cafeteria. But yeah, it ends there with her just shooting this kid and letting him bleed to death. But like, also it ends like there's no resolution. Like, similar to her dad, like, it's an active shooter situation. She just blew off a gigantic rifle. And like I said, there's 800 cops around. Everyone's like, hey, is everything cool over there? She's like, yeah, no, it's fine. I got this. I just killed this kid. You don't need to worry about it. Wait. It was just a kid dressed like some other kid who he was actually the kid who did it. Yeah. Okay. All right. We're good. We're good. Oh, wait.
It's just more paperwork.
Yeah, they in between the scene of her getting the gun and her tracking the kid down, she goes to the Reddit thread about the school shooting. They've geolocated the wrong guy. It was just like an autistic kid who's obsessed with creeks.
Yeah, he was looking for a porn stash in the river. He just gets fucking domed.
Well, yeah. So that's Run, Hide, Fight, and like I said, it's not like a cartoonishly terrible movie, but like it's I would say it's a bad movie because it clearly takes itself seriously. I think like the filmmaker clearly thought that this was like an important movie that like asked some pretty serious questions about like, is it okay to shelter in place, and when is it okay to shoot a teenager?
Yeah, it would have been better for sure if it had been more had the courage of its exploitative convictions. But I'm sorry, minimum 4 stars for blanks and squibs and real guns.
Oh my God!
When was the last time you saw it? I'm actually serious. They do not do it anymore. I do not put real fucking bullets and guns.
John Wick, probably.
No, John Wick does not use fucking squibs.
CGI.
They use all that choreography to hide the fact that they're doing fucking CGI.
Raid, then, I think, right?
The Raid.
Raid use squibs?
Raid is squibs.
I saw it in Eric Andre's show. I don't know if that.
The Raid uses squibs, but that's like the Raid 2 is like now almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I watched Possessor last night, and there was definitely a lot of actual fucking really gruesome blood in that movie.
Yeah. Well, if you watch any director
and I haven't
who
seen that, and it's already 4 stars for me too. 4 stars.
It's not.
Preemptively. 4 stars.
I do agree with you.
I have to encourage these people because the market will not do it because it's cheaper to use the CGI.
I mean, I agree with you on squibs. I just think that this is going to send you down a bad path. I think that like Chechnya will make a weird propaganda movie about it will be like Red Dawn, but gay people invade the country, and Matt's going to be like, well, I mean, they used a lot of squibs in this movie.
They actually used live ammo.
So Matt would be totally fine with the Daily Wire taking over all of Hollywood if they would just use real squibs in movies. And you know what? I'd pretty much be cool with it as well.
Because at this point, I don't really buy any of these theories about like culture, about like cultural products moving people anywhere. Everyone is seeing this stuff through the lens they already possess that is determined really by their demographics and their social context. not by the content of what they're watching. So just give me the goddamned squibs. I don't care who gives them to me.
And actually, this brings to mind, I think we could make actually a pretty funny and harrowing high school movie with no violence that's just about Ben Shapiro's life in high school. And it would be he'd be way more evil and disturbing than the Joker kid, because it's just him.
Oh yeah.
It's him addressing a school assembly about how welfare leads to dependency and disincentivizes work or something like that.
Yeah, he makes the social studies professor denounce Professor Griff for anti-Semitism.
There's a bunch of kids in an American civics class, and they're sitting there, and Ben isn't in the class, and they're all looking around. And they're like, is Ben here? And they're like, no. And they're like, oh, I guess he's sick or something. And you can see them sort of relax, and sort of their body language become more relaxed, and they start laughing it up. And then you hear in the hallway the wheels of a roller backpack. And then everyone just stops what they're saying and just looks at the door. And then there's just a violin screech as the door opens, and then that's cut to black.
Well,
it would be like falling down, but instead of killing people when he's inconvenienced, he just goes, interesting.
Yeah, it would be called staying down.
Well, it's funny if you watch the On Cinema Oscar special, pre-screening backstage presentation where they're all wearing fucking suits and stuff. Everyone on the Daily Wire masthead is a failed Hollywood guy in one way or another.
Yes. Oh yeah.
There's Michael Knowles is a failed actor, and if you watch further in that clip, he talks about how he really felt it. He said the last play I was in. He was talking about his career as being in plays in Hollywood suffered because he wouldn't attend Democratic fundraisers.
I would love to see what fucking...
It reminds you of a fundamental truth that we all try to overlook too much because it's not terribly comfortable. Politics is for losers.
That's true. That's true.
It is. You care about this stuff because you can't make it work in the thing you want to do. Because if you're successful in what you want to do, and why would it be politics? You don't care who's in charge because the world works for you. You decide to go and try to fix how the world works when your path is blocked. Shapiro wanted to be a screenwriter. He wanted to write he had a
and had a cousin who had a successful career as a child actor.
And so it's well, I guess I'm a politics dipshit, and it's not that's not true on the left too. Everyone goes to politics after they lose at the thing they wanted to do.
Yeah,
I'm just
I
saying
actually we started the show because I'm actually $450 million in debt because in 2014 I tried to remake Bob Guccione's Caligula. I don't care about any of this shit. I don't even know who Bernie Sanders
as Caligula.
is. Yeah, I just I have to pay this debt off.
But I mean, that's true, Matt. But the thing with the right wing guys though, who are almost universally if they're a popular figure on the right now, failed actors or entertainers or comedians or something, the difference in them and people on the left is that they have a built-in excuse for why their career never took off.
Right.
And it's because of political bias or whatever. And
it's why grievance is what powers their politics.
One of the other Daily Wire guys, and if you go back and watch that video, he's the guy who looks 40 years older than everyone else sitting there. Is this
the
guy
James Ellroy looking motherfucker?
Yeah, no,
I thought that was James Ellroy.
No,
because I could believe he might do that as a bit.
His name is Andrew Clavin, and he's
my favorite one.
He's a screenwriter. He's a screenwriter that had 2 movies made, including that. It was the most famous one is that movie "Don't Say a Word" with Brittany Murphy and Michael Douglas. That one. That's his most famous movie. But there's a definite Hollywood fail to right wing blogging pipeline
100%
going on here.
Yeah, they should have had Dean Cain in this. That would have had everybody.
No, actually, having Dean Cain as a high school student would have been really funny.
Oh my God, are you kidding? That'd be amazing.
All the adult
Patrick, this movie was smart enough not to use Kevin Sorbo or James Woods or something.
Stephen Baldwin.
Yeah, exactly, because they used actors like Treat Williams and Thomas Jane who are not overwhelmingly associated with being
they have talent.
Cranks. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I thought the lead in this movie, she was as far as 20-year-old actors, she was really good, I thought.
She's on Young Sheldon right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well
I looked up all the other kid, the fat kid who everyone saw his penis is Zoolander Jr. and Zoolander 2.
Well, yeah. After Zoolander 2 bombed, look forward to Ben Stiller's new show on DailyWire.com.
Yeah, I'm excited for what they do next, dude. Just like a fucking John Stossel biopic, or like a like a Bug's Life from the cricket's perspective or something. I think it'd be really good.
Also starring Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, no, I was thinking like they will do like a reboot of House of Cards, a spiritual successor with Kevin Spacey on the Daily Wire in this year.
I'm always on the look for something new, and we have to watch every shitty thing that comes out, and I got seriously depressed after seeing like a Marvel movie because it was just like the same as everything else in the world.
And there's no squibs.
There's no squibs.
And there is no there aren't even real people. Like, forget the bullets. The humans aren't actually there. It's just like a human head floating on like an Etch-a-Sketch outfit.
I want more Christian movies, and I hope that Daily Wire succeeds in its mission to make like, big budget like shitty movies like this, but makes them more overtly insane.
Absolutely, we need some more insanity.
Yeah,
I mean, I would like to. I mean, if I had the money, I would produce just a film adaptation of Ben Shapiro's True Allegiance, but like do it 100% straight. Like just don't even write a screenplay. Just include dialogue directly. Like don't even try to like to make it. Just do it as faithful an adaptation of True Allegiance as is possible with a $200 million budget. That is the movie I would really like to see.
Yeah, or the Kurt Schlichter Civil War book.
Oh yes, I would love to see those.
Yeah. I would. That would make me, whenever like some shitty superhero movie comes out, like I think the episodes we always do on them, I really like. But actually seeing the movie sends me into like a spiral. But when like Will or Matt is like, hey, there's this movie about like if Muslims had invented the atomic bomb first, and it's made by the guy who owns the biggest screen door factory in Tennessee. He self-funded it. I'm like, yes.
Well, I mean, I think like if this movie is successful and the Daily Wire gets to do more movies, I mean, if it gets successful enough, then they're going to feel their oats enough to do what they really want to do, which is True Allegiance, the movie, like a movie that doesn't have to shade its ridiculous politics.
I mean, good tidings to Daily Wire Pictures. I'm rooting for you just because I want a variety in movies that I watch for my show.
Well, there we go. That was Run, Hide, Fight, everyone, and I would say just don't walk, run, hide, fight to your local Daily Wire Cineplex. Go down to wherever fine Ben Shapiro products are sold, and definitely don't pay for this movie. Definitely don't. But I would like to thank Podcast About List. Thanks for hanging out, boys.
Thanks for having us on. Yeah.
And if people would like more podcasts about lists, where should they go?
Ask Cameron.
Anywhere that you can find a podcast. Just search Podcast About List.
I knew he would have the answer.
Twitter @PodAboutList. Ask Caleb for any more
dude. Fuck you. Whatever.
We have a YouTube channel, right? We got Twitch.
I don't know.
YouTube, we got...
All right, I think we only get 10 seconds, Pat.
Follow us on Gab.
It's okay, gang. It's only taken us 5 years to figure out even half of how to do a podcast.
Yeah.
So you guys are well on your way. All right. Till next time, gang. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye. Thank you.